But the blank page can be truly scary to an artist. You really feel like drawing, you sit down, you open your sketchbook at the next free page and just stare at it a while, maybe doodle something, and then push it aside, feeling bad. The same thing goes for digital art. The blank canvas is just horrible. So I've developed a method to rarely be in this situation. I maintain certain habits and nurture them so that I don't run out of ideas. For one thing, I always make room to let the ideas come to me. For instance, when I go to collect my son and walk, then I don't look at my cell phone. Sometimes I look at it, but if I want the idea to come, I don't look at my cell phone. I just set my mind to the wish to create something. And then when I don't have anything to do with my brain, but have set it in that right direction before and just walk, then the ideas start to come. It's not always, this isn't a recipe which always works, but I found that it often does, because just sort of doing some sort of manual work with your body, leaving your brain free to do its own thing, that's when sort of the best things come to you. So the ideas came to you. The next thing that is important is that you jot them down directly. I always carry a small sketchbook everywhere, and that helps me to just sort of jot down the ideas when they come. So if a idea comes to me while walking, I will just sort of stop quickly, get out that sketchbook while standing, and just sort of do a tiny thumbnail. And I've done this quite often, because if I don't do it in the evening, I won't remember. It will be gone. It's like these dreams which they're just sort of gone. So I make sure to nail that idea down. Other thing that is important is I have to keep sketching easy. And sketching easy just happens for me if I do it regularly. And then doing it regularly, more ideas come. So it's basically a spiral. I know that pressuring yourself into sketching a lot can be hard. So I say I try to sketch nearly every day. And when I do, my habits are much better and I produce more art. I also try to sketch a lot when I'm not that inspired. So I just sort of practice stuff like hands or characters, just sort of to keep this routine in drawing, because I feel like nothing is worse when you want to draw, but it doesn't feel good and you just sort of, it just doesn't work. And that mainly comes from not having a routine in drawing. So that's something which I really try to maintain. What else I do is when I don't maybe have a sketch which I scribble down or don't feel like doing it, then I look at inspirational art books, comics. I also have come to rely on our reference collections. So either a Pinterest board, or what I do a lot is I collect pretty photos on Instagram. I follow certain hashtags like Quiet in the Wild, which always gives me beautiful nature photos. And these inspire me because then I can see sort of a character walking through this landscape or something. And then I try to change this around, and that often produces a new illustration. You can also go to Unsplash. Those are photos which are actually meant as reference photos, and you don't need a license for them. You can use them in your work. When looking at pictures, sometimes it's a pretty color scheme which can spark an idea. Sometimes it's a pretty landscape. So this is just by looking, I open myself to the possibility to maybe get inspiration from that. And all these different habits then accumulate in inspiration and being able to produce an illustration that I like fairly often, because I do draw a lot and I do produce it often. And I think that all these habits are what feed into this, and is something that you can try for yourself, and maybe it'll help you.